Looks like we have Isaiah resetting his game to make sure that the 8 minutes don't pass. And it looks like we're getting started. Bulbasaur's timer's going, and there we go. We're off. So we go through a little character creation segment here, which, ironically enough, doesn't actually matter. Because, you know, who needs character creation in a demo, am I right? So yeah, this is just like a little prologue, lasts about a minute. And obviously we're choosing to name our character and the vessel differently, so it saves a little bit of time. And once that's done, we wake up in the in-game world. I don't actually know what this town is called, but I assume it has a name somewhere. That or I'm just being ignorant. So you'll notice that both runners are going back to sleep. And this is basically the new game plus part of the run, and that you can actually go back to bed. And as you saw, both runners acquiring the wrist protector. Now, a lot of this run, a lot of the tech with this run revolves around three factors. The movement of the character, encounter skips, which when we get to them I'll point out and explain more in depth, and in a couple of cases, actual fight mechanics. So that's why you see the runners being very linear and direct with their movements at the moment. Basically because, obviously, bumping into walls or colliding with other objects loses momentum. And we're about to get the second party member in Susie. Susie's kind of important because we do a little bit of damage manipulation with them later on. Which, again, I'll go into detail when that does come up. So there's not really a lot that happens here apart from a couple of chase segments, which are basically auto-scrollers. Except this, I guess you could call it an auto-scroller because you're moving in the same direction, you're not really backtracking. Also, fun fact, you can actually take damage in the overworld now, as both runners have just demonstrated so kindly for me. And that's one of the many changes that this game's implemented when compared to something like Undertale as an example of Toby Fox games. So we're coming up to the third party member, which we're about to find out in a few seconds, after some dialogue, which we can actually skip a cutscene here. So I'll go over the wrist protector real quick. Actually, no, I won't, because I just remembered there's this fight coming up. And there's a possibility that we'll see a 3-turn, but let's see. Okay, Isaiah misses the first turn, that's unfortunate. But it's actually... Well, both runners missing the first turn, but it's probably better for the runners to miss first turn than, say, third turn when they've already got the first two. Also, you'll see the runners taking some damage here towards Susie. The reason we do that is, like I said, it comes up later on in the run, but to put into detail, we want to take as much damage as we can without Susie dying, because we actually want Susie to die at a specific point. But yeah, no 3-turn lands a quick kill, which is unfortunate, because that has to be 3 frame perfect hits. So the wrist protector, essentially a speedrunner friendly item which allows us to have the game auto match text boxes at 15 text boxes per second, or whatever the equivalent speed is in game. But obviously we still want to match Z and enter, as that allows the text boxes to actually advance faster. So nice of Toby to add that little speedrunner item there. So we're coming up to fields now, and we're about to see the first examples of encounter skips and overworld encounters in general. So, as you can see, the overworld encounters do happen, and there are enemies that try to chase us down. And we just run past them because there's actually no fleeing in this game. So that's why saying movement is very important, because if we move the wrong way or we bump into something, that has a very strong chance of affecting whether or not we can dodge an encounter. So we've got the first unavoidable encounter here, the triple Hathy, and you're going to see both runners at this point taking a bit of damage. Isaiah taking extra damage there, that's unfortunate. The reason we take damage on the first turn is it actually allows us to skip Lance's dialogue at the end of the first turn. And you'll notice that the runners are actually circling around the attack and just grazing it so they take more TP. The reason for that is some attacks actually have a faster turnover if you actually take more TP to your TP gauge. If you actually graze closer to it, I should say. I don't know. Also a little bit of fanfare going on there. That was really good movement for that puzzle. That's kind of iffy for the most part, but Isaiah getting really good movement there. Also, Isaiah's already at, I think both runners are at 34 HP for Susie. And yeah, as you see on Bulbasaur's end, the puzzle being a little bit finicky, but they're actually able to get it done fairly quick. So I think both runners are at 34 HP for Susie, so they don't want to take any damage here. Or they might want to take one hit of damage, since it does 19 HP. So, yes, this is the second unavoidable encounter. Also, a little tidbit here is that if you're doing the True Pacifist run, you would basically warn the enemies that Susie's going to attack, and that subsequently means that they will automatically avoid it. But obviously that's not the case here, since we're not really worried about True Pacifist stuff. So Isaiah getting a good encounter skip there, we're moving on to the checkerboard encounter. There's a couple of skips here, one of them being kind of finicky and a tight window if you bump too many times, but hopefully Isaiah should get it. Yep, both runners also getting the pre-checkerboard skip. Let's see how Bulbasaur goes with Pondman 1. And that was a really clean Pondman 1 area, so both runners doing really well on the checkerboard so far. So it's faster to just pick the right option there. Don't think it really matters, but it's just easier, I guess. Also, another example of hitboxes being broken in this game is those squares that are flashing. Normally they send you back to the beginning, but if we walk over in that particular manner, then it doesn't actually register. So Pondman 2 there, and you can actually bonk at least twice there and have a little bit of wiggle room, but obviously better to be safe than sorry. So we're coming up to the K round fight now, and this is obviously a nice little play on words by Toby, because it's synonymous with checkers, and obviously K round being a checker piece and getting to the end of the board. Yeah, you kind of get it. So we're going to see if we get a Susie death here. Let's see. Oh, we get a first turn Susie death from Isaiah. That's good. So the reason why we want Susie to go down here is there's an attack that comes up normally if Susie's still conscious, but obviously with Susie being down, and we get double first turn Susie death. That is actually really good RNG. So you see that there's no almond milk attack being done for Isaiah, and that's actually good. That actually saves you about 6 seconds. So yeah, both runners getting a first turn Susie. That's pretty good. So that's checkerboard. And basically, Susie decides to betray us. I wonder if it's because we basically let her die against K-Round. But no, obviously it's because Susie doesn't really like the anti-hero thing that's going on. So now we're in Forest, and there's a few encounters here, and a couple of skips which are actually kind of even tighter than Pondman 1, for example. I just realized I was talking through my webcam, so I apologize if I'm a bit quiet. So yeah, now we're coming up to some puzzles. And this puzzle we don't have to worry about, same with this encounter here. And the reason why we don't call this a block to skip here is because it's actually so free that, you know, you don't even have to worry about it. But coming up, we do have a block to skip, and that one is actually kind of fidgety. So we have Clover, and neat little bit of tech to find with this encounter here is you can actually spare them in 2 turns if you use the manual twice. I don't know how that works, and I don't know why that works, but at this point, I'm just not going to question it. So, on Isaiah's screen, we have blocks of 1 skip. And Isaiah does get it, which is good, because it loses about 20 seconds and is a pain to miss. Now let's see how Bulbasaur goes here. Oh, just a fraction too early. That's unfortunate. So Isaiah is already at the Maker Machine. That's unfortunate though for Bulbasaur, because if you get the slower jigsaw arrangement thingy, that does lose you quite a bit of time. So we're coming up to the maze part of the run for Isaiah, and I'll remember it this time, since I was reminded that I forgot it last time. But you'll notice coming up in a little bit, the other Bloxer that appears in this area, it actually retains its aggression despite the fact that it was a separate encounter. I don't know if it's that one specifically, but for whatever reason, that Bloxer retains its movement speed because we missed the first one back in the double Bloxer room, as I call it. I don't actually know whereabouts. So yeah, I don't know if it's just that encounter specifically, because we saw a Rabbit in there that wasn't aggroed on us. Maybe it's just that one character. And we saw the machine getting destroyed. Feels bad, man. So for the tag team battle here, basically we talked to Lancer twice, then on the 3rd turn we put Susie to sleep, which is actually slightly faster than doing it 3 in 1, or something to that effect. Basically, you just have to talk to Lancer 4 times and the fight's over. But the thing is, if you try to talk to him 4 times in a row, Susie will actually block him on the 4th attack, so that he doesn't actually hear. And now we have Lancer joining the party as well. And stall form. Yes, that's a thing, apparently, and I don't know how I should feel. So yeah. We're basically almost done with Forest for both runners. Just a little bit of walking and obviously finishing up this tag battle here with Bulbasaur. So, the trailing coming in 3, 2, 1. So we have another little chase cutscene sequence here, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, you don't want to take too much damage because it does slow you down as well. I actually kind of like the idea of taking damage in the overworld, because with Undertale the encounters were random and you didn't actually see them ahead of time, apart from a couple of pre-placed encounters that didn't really do all that much. But the encounters being visible throughout the entire game is actually a nice touch. And also we're in prison now, so yeah. Anyone up for a jailbreak? Also, fun fact, you have to interact with 3 different objects in that room in order to talk to Ralsei and advance the dialogue sequence. So, if I remember correctly, Isaiah would have done the talk to the wall twice and then get the shackles. And the shackles we want to get, because that's an important item for Susie, as well as getting the Brave Axe later on, is that helps us deal more damage in an upcoming fight. At this stage, I'm not too sure how well both runners are faring. It looks like Bulbasaur's a little bit behind PB pace at the moment, going on the coloring of the splits, but yeah, I wouldn't be too sure about PB pace for either runner at the moment. And on Isaiah's end, we have Auto-Scroller Mark II incoming. Although I suppose it's not really an auto-scroller if it's a fight sequence, but I don't know. And I guess at this point in time, it's just a competition to see how high you can build your TP meter up. Whether you can get 100% and basically become the true pacifist. As they're taking a little bit of damage there, which doesn't really matter in the scheme of things, but, you know. And I think Isaiah may just get it, or he may get to 99%, which is actually kind of unfortunate. Also, obviously, again, the grazing attacks is slightly faster for the attack to finish. Okay, it looks like Isaiah's going to get to 99. That's a feels bad, man. Yeah, this is the last turn, and I'm not going to get to 100. And it looks like Susie's had a change of heart and isn't going to beat Lancer completely into the ground. Also, something I probably should have mentioned at the start of the run, but now I'll cover it. Obviously, with the way text mashing and that works in this game, it's actually slightly faster to run JP since there's no text input issues with either version, much unlike in Undertale, which was a big controversy in the community at a given time. But yes, because this game's actually slightly better program with the version inputs, it doesn't really matter what language you want to run, but it's slightly faster for JP. So we reacquire Susie into our party now, and basically we have to make our way through the castle. And there's 2 encounter skips that we have to do, and one of them is actually rather difficult. Isaiah opting to go for the faster run and ranger skip here. Gets it easily. Also, Isaiah's not putting on the shackles just yet. I think he's either going to try for Head Hathy skip, or he's just feeling that confident in his ability to crit Head Hathy if need be. Also, hardest puzzle in the game, right there, folks. You saw it first. And he gets hit healthy skip. Isaiah, the madman, the genius, whatever you want to call him. Second hardest puzzle in the game done, by the way. Fun fact, I have never been able to do that skip in my duration of running this game. And I personally hate myself for it. As well as hating that skip, because it's impossible. Although it's clearly not, because Isaiah just did it. So let's see if Isaiah can do this carry-on fight better than last time, because last time there was a little bit of an issue where he did actually die to, we actually did lose Chris early on. Also, if you get to see it, there's a chance that we can see these hitboxes being kind of broken again, but hopefully it doesn't happen. Nope. Oh, Bulbasaur just a little bit short there, but a good attempt nonetheless. And now we're at the king fight, and basically this is the last bit of the run that the runners have some control over in terms of how well how well they can do here. I guess for lack of a better term. So Isaiah going for the Rude Buster strat, and he's doing it on the first turn. Sorry, Red Buster, not Rude Buster. Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter the order as long as you do it within the first 2 turns, otherwise you're just losing time. So yeah, it's actually faster to do a 9-turn Root Buster I mean, not 9-turn, sorry. 10-turn Root Buster strat than it is to try and get a 9-turn... Sorry, I said Root Buster, I meant Red Buster. It's faster to do a 9-turn Red Buster strat than it is to do a... No, never mind, I apparently lost the ability to count as well. Try this again. It's faster to do a 10-turn Red Buster strat than it is to try and get a 9-turn Root Buster strat. I got it right in the end. And that's why you can see a lot of TP grazing from Isaiah, because we need to get to 60 to use the actual attack. And the basis for this strat is, on every turn where we're using the Red Buster, we're defending with Ralsei except for 2. Otherwise, we're just attacking with all 3 as normal. And there we go. 10-turn king fight for Isaiah. Looks like Bulbasaur's doing the same strat. And yeah, we see it was actually not a really good idea to heal the king there. Not really much to discuss here. I guess we just wait for the last little cutscene to finish here. So this may look like either a high 26 or a low 27 for Isaiah. And it might be a mid-ish 29 for Bulbasaur compared to their PBs. I'm assuming that's the sort of pace that they'll be on at this point. Oh, and it looks like Bulbasaur just lost Chris, so that's going to be slightly problematic. So that's going to be possibly an 11 turn, maybe a 12 turn here. Yep, that'll be a 12 turn, which is unfortunate. Oh, that's not looking too good. But the Rude Buster saves the day there. And now with Isaiah, we just have the little epilogue here, I guess you could say. Oh, a little bit of background noise on my... Hang on, let me just... Okay, that should fix it. I may be a little bit different in volume now. Okay. Well, Restream just paused for a little bit for me for no apparent reason. So Isaiah's finished, and that's a 2658. Which, if I remember correctly, his PB was a 2621. I'll just double check that. Yeah, sorry, 2651. So that's only 7 seconds off PB, which isn't too bad, really. And now we're just going to see how Bulbasaur is doing. Remembering that their PB was a 2904, I believe. And yeah, considering that after the fountain cutscene, it takes about a minute and change to finish, so this may be a mid-29. I'd say 29 2x. Okay. I don't know if Isaiah's coming in for an interview or not, because they're not normally known for talking. So, let me just... Okay, just confirming we're not actually getting Isaiah in for post-match. I don't know about Bulbasaur. They're about to finish themselves, so... Yeah, like I said, a mid-29. It's looking like this will probably be a sub 29-30. Yep, 29-27. GG to both runners. Now I'll just wait and see if Bulbasaur is going to be coming in here for post-match, or if we're just going to wrap things up real quick and then pass things over to the next event that's running on this channel, which unfortunately I have no idea what that is. So there's nothing yet. I'll give it another minute or so at most, and if nothing's happened, then I'll probably say that we're not getting either runner in for post-match. Okay, so it looks like Bulbasaur is not doing post-match either, so I guess I'll just wrap this up then. GG to both runners, and being not even too far off their respective PBs as well, which in a race setting is usually pretty good. Personal thoughts on the run? I think both runners did relatively well considering. Unfortunately for Bulbasaur, that means they are now knocked out of the tournament, since this is a double loss, a double elimination tournament, or another way of saying it would be lose twice and you're out. Isaiah now will be going on to face Star Smiley in the third round of the losers bracket, so I'm sure that'll be an interesting match. And it looks like in the other race that was happening at the same time, it looks like Tommy won with a 28-35 against Okapi with a 31-25. Just on the off chance that there were people here that didn't get the chance to see the other race or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'll wrap this up real quick. GG to both runners. Yeah, like I said, both runners did really well, and obviously looking forward to the Isaiah Star race coming up. So at the moment, coming up for the tournament, we have 2 races tomorrow at 2 PM Eastern Time. We have the first race, which involves myself against Faustus. I think I pronounced that right. And at the same time, we also have Bluezer against Yoshi Killer 1092. So those 2 races should be fairly entertaining, I'm sure. And hopefully I'll see you around for those. Thanks for watching, and if you like the run or you enjoyed what you watched and you want to get into the actual run itself, we do have a Discord, and we do have a really nice community set up with all sorts of guides and resources and tidbits. I don't want to drag this on too much longer than I have to, so I'll wrap this up now. But yeah, thanks for coming, and hopefully you enjoyed.